It's gonna be the Chinese century come hell or high water, and it couldn't have been telegraphed any clearer.
One woman said, I want a recession because that'll help get rid of Donald Trump. And that, I think that's, most liberals won't admit that.
One way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy. So please bring on the recession.
And here we are facing the threat of an 18-month shutdown, which would fuel an unemployment rate that could make the Great Depression look like a walk in the park.
Okay, so look at airline industry, auto industry, restaurant industry, hotel industry. Capitalism does not work in an 18-month shutdown. Capitalism can work in a 30-day shutdown. And to stop the buyback programs, to husband resources, to draw down their credit lines, because hell is coming.
Regardless of our convoluted global situation, the Chinese just turned their economic engine back on, while the world chokes on a silent wave of their communist propaganda filtered through American think tanks and eventually the mockingbird media.
Did this virus originate in China? Yes. But, Mr. President, that does not excuse your weeks and weeks of tweeting lies and misinformation about the virus, while the leaders of other nations were taking steps to make sure their populations could be safe.
Do you consider the term Chinese food racist because it's food that originates in China or it has Chinese?
No, I don't think it's racist. I don't think it's racist at all. It amazes me when I read the things that I read. It amazes me when I read the Wall Street Journal, which is always so negative. It amazes me when I read the New York Times. Is not even, I barely read it. You know, we don't distribute it in the White House anymore, and the same thing with the Washington Post. They use different slogans and different concepts for me almost every week, trying to catch something. Last week it was, chaos. You see me, there's no chaos. I have no chaos. I'm the one telling everybody to be calm.
Forcing freedom to come to a temporary standstill in the wake of the Chinese stranglehold on the availability of basic common medicine.
Even the medicines to care for people who are hospitalized with coronavirus, 90% of those ingredients come from China. Once we opened up free trade, that's when we lost our last aspirin plant in 2002. So we can't make aspirin in the United States. That's when we lost our last penicillin plant, which closed in 2004. At the same time, we lost our ability to make vitamin C. These are basic things we need for life. This is about survivability. So we have to bring that manufacturing back home to this country.
And while the silent majority is away, the DC rats will play. Now those that would never waste a crisis are beginning to rear their ugly heads. As OpenSecrets.org reported, as the coronavirus outbreak began to spread across the U.S. in mid-February, Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Richard Burr unloaded his holdings in dozens of stocks that would lose much of their market value over the coming weeks. Around the time that Burr sold his shares of major corporations, including several hard-hit hotel companies, he publicly expressed confidence about the U.S. government's ability to fight the virus. However, in late February, Burr privately warned that the virus is much more aggressive in its transmission than anything that we have seen in recent history. And as Breitbart reported, Senator Lindsey Graham is using the coronavirus recovery bills to dramatically expand the award of EB-5 green cards to wealthy Chinese if they lend money to U.S. real estate investors and other companies. A proposal which could be included in one of the Senate's coronavirus rescue bills would significantly boost the number of visas offered annually from 10,000 to 75,000, while cutting in half the investment required to earn legal residence from $900,000 to $450,000, they say. Half the recipients of the EB-5 visa program, investors and their families, come from China, according to a report by the Brookings Institution think tank. And while America is distracted, Adam Schiff is performing CPR on 3 crooked FISA provisions that lapsed as the Washington Times reports attempts to rein in the government's ability to spy on Americans fell flat after Representative Adam B. Schiff intervened to protect the types of powers that the FBI used to go after the Trump campaign in 2016. The longer this goes on, the more the veil will be lifted on the disgusting face of corruption and a coordinated globalist siege of a once thriving United States. John Bound reporting.